Elizabeth for the Beacon E solar pumping station in the farming community of Beacon Little Park. And I must tell you, I'm going to give you some details today of what we are commissioning. But before I do so, I permit me to acknowledge the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force who are here. My first stop in politics was at the Ministry of National Security, and I understand the connection between protecting what we are doing here, whether it is irrigation network or our produce or our livestock. And so we thank you for your service. Continue to do the good work. The Beacon East Solar Pump Station is a ground mounted 120 kilowatt grid tier solar system comprising 270 photovoltaic 450 watt panels. That's a lot. The solar system is controlled by a 100 kilowatt inverter system and is situated on approximately 0.78 acres of land. The total cost to install this system in Jamaica is $31.5 million, and there's an additional cost of 4.78 million for us to install the necessary CCTV to enhance security of the area. And so I'm pleased to note that this solar installation is going to allow the NIC to self-generate approximately 60% of the energy required to mobilize and operate the pumping station. Significant. This will, of course, result in a reduction of the NIC's energy bill from JPS, and importantly, this installation is projected to reduce water production costs by approximately 9.5 million or 55% annually. Did you hear that? Going to reduce water production costs by 55% annually. What this means, ladies and gentlemen, is that the energy cost of water production will be reduced by at least 50% in the entire irrigation district. And the reduction will allow for us to be able to translate this now to more efficiency. So when you hear us talk about growing smarter, eating smarter, the introduction of this climate smart technology is exactly what we need to be able to provide that efficient and reliable service to our customers. Improving service delivery is what NIC is focused on. To date, the National Irrigation Commission Limited has installed a total of 750 kilowatts of renewable energy across its operation. This is 13% of this now is solar installation, which was done at the NIC office locations. This is very important for Jamaica to understand. And currently, an additional 70 kilowatts of solar capacity is being installed at the Plumwood pumping station in New Forest, Manchester. And in addition to that, 830 kilowatts has already been signed in terms of a contract for delivery of a 200 kilowatt solar system for Little Park F2 pump in St. Elizabeth. So in total, you see that when our Prime Minister called on the ministries to become more integrally involved in achieving our renewable energy targets, the NIC took this very, very serious. Ladies and gentlemen, the negative effects of climate change continue to pose serious challenges for Jamaica. We see here in St. Elizabeth, where you can see the climatic conditions in terms of the droughts, another time it's floods. So we at the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries are taking a calculated approach. As you heard our permanent secretary speak a while ago, that what has been done at the ministry is not just coincidental, it's not happening today, it's not happening under my watch only. This has been a long-term vision for Jamaica to build the resilience and to build a stronger framework for the agricultural sector, starting from a decade ago. And it is important to know that we take it very, very seriously in terms of in our country. Improvement in not just putting in place the pumping stations and the water management and the investment that is needed in terms of the use of the renewable energy is critical. And this government has a national mandate to increase the amount of renewable energy being used to build a sustainable and climate-friendly agricultural sector. This kind of investment in water production for the agricultural sector will create the Jamaica that you want, the Jamaica that we deserve. What is important to note is that with this investment, we can anticipate that the payback for it in terms of looking on depreciation, maintenance, insurance, all of those different things, deposits, within 4.5 years, we would have been able to pay off this investment. And if you understand, you realize how positive that is in terms of an outcome. Let us note also, Jamaica, that the Beacon E solar pumping station is the fourth NIC pumping station to be outfitted with solar panels. This joins the Ebony Park station in Clarendon, the Bengal station in Trelawney, and the Little Park pumping station in St. Elizabeth. To date, your government has spent close to $150 million in solar technologies, and you have seen the benefits and the results in terms of savings already. As a result of that investment, the NIC has saved energy costs totaling approximately $40 million. Over the 2-year period, these renewable energy sources have generated over 1 million kilowatt hours of energy. And to top it off, this increased use of solar technologies has enabled the NIC to have a carbon emission avoidance of 590 metric tons of carbon dioxide. And let me tell you, as a former Minister of Climate Change, I can tell you that it is agriculture, the agricultural sector, with this innovation and introduction of technology, that is leading Jamaica in terms of the pathway towards climate resilience. This ministry is serious about building a stronger agricultural sector, and we recognize our responsibility to collaborate with the ministry that's in charge of climate change, the ministry in charge of national security, the ministry in charge of health, and all other ministries in our effort to develop this country. Ladies and gentlemen, 390 farmers, including 100 female farmers and one person living with a disability, will benefit from this solar retrofit through the improved service delivery from the NIC here in Beacon Little Park. And during the installation process, 8 residents from the surrounding communities benefited already from short-term employment in skilled masonry and unskilled labor. So I want to take the time, on behalf of myself and the Permanent Secretariat team, to commend the NIC. I think that it is without a doubt that Mr. Giles, your team of engineers, of technicians, specialists, administrators, everybody at the NIC seems to be in tune with our focus, in tune with the responsibility that has been laid on you to provide that foundation for growth of this sector. And I want to say thank you to you and your board for listening to the call of our Prime Minister and for also broadening the scope of what the NIC can achieve by introducing this renewable energy as part of our efforts for water efficiency. You have certainly allowed Jamaica to say that we are an example to the region of what building climate resilience ought to be. I listened to my goodly Minister and MP make a call for more water trucks in St. Elizabeth Southwest. And I can tell you, Minister Green, your call is not going to fall on deaf ears. Particularly because you make the call so many times that even if somebody was deaf, we would have heard loudly. But one of the things I want to resonate with the farmers in South St. Elizabeth is that you have a member of parliament who is serious about agriculture, served as our former minister, then did an exemplary job. And so it's not hard for me to continue the work that Floyd started because it's work that I can accept as sensible. And as member of parliament, I don't want to tell you the amount of times my phone is ringing from this man. And that's what a member of parliament should be. You should be fighting for your people. You should be fighting for resources. You should be fighting for more. So I want to congratulate the member of parliament for this constituency, for the hard work you're doing. And on behalf of myself and your brother to the east,
MP.
yes, and my brother down the corridor, MP for Southeast St. Elizabeth, we want to assure you that you have one truck already on its way that should be here within the month, right? And based on the nudging of the permanent secretary, who I'm telling you, he loves St. Elizabeth. I don't know why. They come from Clarendon, really. But he has already informed me that we are putting in place arrangements for you to have the two more. So, so we are moving in the right direction here in St. Elizabeth. While the NIC is charged with providing irrigation water to the agricultural sector, it is important that farmers incorporate the kind of efficiency in terms of how you utilize the water. One of the concerns I had, and I expressed it to the minister, is the reason why St. Elizabeth is so distinguished in your farming practices. And listen to me carefully now. The reason is, in my view, partially because of the challenges that you face. You understand what I'm saying? When I speak to the RADA team, and let me acknowledge the excellent RADA team that is here. I see our parish manager and deputy, um, who I'm trying to get over to some other parishes, but I won't say anything further. But you have an excellent RADA team, and you have excellent farmers who have been able to understand that with the little that they have no choice but to use it efficiently. So because you have the drought, because you have to be trucking, because you don't have anything to waste, you waste nothing. And that mindset of efficiency is what causes your production to be so specific and calculated. And I'm concerned that when we push so much water, I don't want the mindset to change. So we're going to make sure that as we pump that water in terms of Essex Valley and SPAD, that we pump about 1,600 hectares of water into St. Elizabeth, that the mindset does not change. We don't want you to waste, we want you to use more. And you're getting ready for Pedro Plains. You heard our permanent secretary and you heard your MP speak about Pedro Plains, which will pump 7,000 hectares of irrigable land. And he did the calculation for me, Floyd, what was it? 17,000 acres of land that will be irrigable. That means that we'll have the capacity to not just triple, as was said before. When I make the calculations, you're looking at about 5 to 10 times more production in this, the highest producing area of the country. So let me just assure you that as we go on this journey, we know that you will have those who find it their responsibility to distract. We know that there will be those who find it to be their responsibility to pull down. But you cannot stop this train at the pace that it is going. The amount of things that are positive taking place in agriculture and fisheries now, it don't matter how many times you try to put subtitles under it, people are not foolish and they're listening. And I must tell you, I want to thank the farmers, several, some from St. Elizabeth, who have listened to the callings radio station, call me on the phone, send me messages. Some come to the office, and I must tell you, Before I took up this responsibility, Ms. Christine, Floyd didn't tell me that I would get so much good food as Minister of Agriculture. I must tell you, the farmers take care of their minister. They make sure that you are strong and looking good and feeling healthy because they want us to do the good work. And so we aren't going to be distracted. NIC will never be distracted. Rather, it's not going to be distracted. And we're going to continue to work with our farmers to make sure you are trained and informed and that you know the techniques in terms of proper irrigation and water efficiency and how to use the water when you get it. And these practices will not only conserve water use in agriculture, but they're going to contribute to reducing the cost, that bill that you have, to maintaining the high soil quality, to ensuring that we have lower cost in terms of fertilizing, and that we have ultimately increase in yield of crops per acre and hectare. So even as we continue to drive the mitigation techniques, and I also have heard the cry for more equipment in terms of drip irrigation. What I would tell you is that we have to remind all members of parliament that we have made us an allocation to you and that you are free to use that allocation to try and get some drip irrigation. And I know that members of parliament in the bread basket will use it wisely. And if you have to come back and ask for some more, don't worry. We'll definitely accommodate that request. Because one thing is sure, Jamaica can see where the investment in St. Elizabeth and the investment in those high production areas across the country have yielded high results and positive outcomes. As Minister of State Franklin Witter said a while ago, never before has Jamaica seen this kind of production in domestic crops. 770,456 tons in 2021. And now we have gone over 840,000 tons in 2022. 7 consecutive quarters of growth in the agricultural sector. It means that the government is serious. It means that the farmers are committed. And it means that the policies that have been implemented are sound. In regards to additional irrigation projects, let me note that we have the Yallas West Agricultural Development Project coming up valued at $39 million. The Lucky Hill Pen Agricultural Development Project for $1 million, $51 million, sorry, which is slated for implementation during this financial year. And let me also note that funding has been approved by the government of Jamaica and JSIF for an investment of some $198 million to be pumped into the Mango Ebony Park and the Planting Garden River Agro Parks, covering approximately 155 hectares or close to 400 acres of land. The government is serious about agriculture. We are serious about developing this sector. And so let me just close by reassuring all who have ears. If I am to just recount what we have done in the last 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, from goats to fish to solar panels to the highest production of onions that we could even think about. The story around agriculture and fisheries is an evolving story. It is an interesting story. It's an exciting story of development and resilience and growth. And when young people in this country ask the question whether farming is viable, I say to them, don't ask me. Ask the young 25-year-old farmer who just got 35,000 pounds per acre of onion and sold it at $150, how much millions of dollars he made off of his 5 acres. So farming is viable, but it is not meant to be easy. Farming requires you to be strong, to be committed. Everybody calculate it out. What you know? So man, it's a test. If you get any resignation when I see is that right wrong. Then the man will say, what? What? But I'm telling you without a doubt, sometimes people, permanent secretary, confuse viability with ease. We're not talking about something that is easy. If you're going to get into farming, you got to get up early. You have to be out there. It's not a side issue. You have to watch. You have to be involved. You have to know what you're doing. You have to train up yourself. You have to learn. You have to listen. Go to RADA. Get the technical expertise. Get a good farm manager, or you become the farm manager. Secure your crops. Put in place the necessary infrastructure to protect your investment. But if you think you're just going to come and throw some seed and make money, that's not what it's about. But if you are serious and if you're committed and if you're ready, farming is your option. And we've proven it. 4-H Club had its Achievement Day series and we culminated on May 12th. And I invite all to listen to those youngsters. Watch them. That's farming in excellence. What we are doing at the ministry is putting together the framework for Jamaica to achieve its long-term vision for agriculture. We can feed ourselves, we can feed the region, and we can send our value-added products across the world. Farmers will be the richest persons in this country. Mark my word. Stay committed, stay focused, and do not be distracted. One love. Please give the minister another round of applause. I told you he's focused, he knows what he's about, and he will not be distracted. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure being here. The commissioning of the solar powered irrigation system, it's a good thing, and it's a significant thing. And let me tell you this. We spend most of the time here, every single speaker that comes talk about the farmers. This month is what? Farmers Month. And we must pause to recognize, celebrate, salute, and thank them. Thank them for the work that they have been doing to ensure that we eat fresh, wholesome, healthy food. As they grow smart and we eat smart and we eat what we grow and grow what we eat. Jamaica can do it. We have demonstrated it. Because in the days gone by when the traditional crops were king, the market environment and situation has changed. But domestic crop production has grown tremendously. We don't expect that the drought that we have experienced is going to cause us not to grow. We may have a decrease in the rate of growth because it is in these same difficult drought times that we are talking about 3 times the production that was expected over in St. Thomas in terms of yields from onions. And St. Elizabeth is all in their own. So I want to tell you, it is our expectation as we celebrate Farmers Month that the growth trajectory that we are on will continue. I want to thank you all for being here. And at this point in time, we're going to have the official opening and commissioning of the system. I'm going to ask you just be seated as the chief party here just move to cut the ribbon, and then we'll have a tour. And don't leave. We have refreshment here for you. We're not going to keep you out here all day, and don't ensure that you eat some of the lovely foods
that we produce. So I want to thank you all. Give yourself a round of applause and be seated as we move to the cutting of the ribbon. And then you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Minister. But almost 20 minutes. All right.